And welcome back to the Dennis Herrera Show. This is the afternoon extra bonus round. As you guys are my members, you guys already know we went live already for the second time. I even put in a little quick short that was automatically made by YouTube, by the way. So thank you for tuning back in here with me. As of course, my introductory music beat me to the punch here. I want to make sure that both of my live streaming formats here are the same. I don't see you sneaking in there, man. I'm just trying to remove the strict chat so that people don't get blocked for just anything. All right, there we go. We're good. We're good. Now, I got a couple of videos that I want to share with you today, and one of them is, of course, the live that was streamed earlier by our great POTUS, President Donald J. Trump. Oh, watch out. Cray Miz is back on the chat. Let me go ahead and say hello to Jason Martin's back. Robert Coyotes has made it back. G Bro's back. And that's it. All right, good. Whew. Man, it is hot, guys. It is hot. It is still hot today, but it's such a beautiful time to be able to get out. It really is. Let me refresh this, make sure that I get, I don't know why it does that. I think it's because I shrink it too much. Give me 1 second so I can, what the hell happened? Man, the browser sometimes it just messes up. It doesn't want to give me what I need. All right, we'll do portrait on this one. Yeah. I see it. All right, and then we will do the landscape on this one. All right, Unc Andy and my man in the house. Hey, I want to share something very interesting with you guys before we hit this live streaming from earlier. President Trump addressing small businesses and businesses in general. Listen, you guys know that Melanie, the Italian Prime Minister, she's always been on Trump's support side. Now, I want you to, malo lava, my little brother, let's make America great again. Let's go, Trump. You know how it is. You know how it is. You know how we do. All right, we got half of my patrons on one side and a few on the other. I thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, man, let me see. I got to do one more thing. One more thing. Yeah. How did you guys like my little introduction? I would love to have a Samoan drum beat before I start my lives, but, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So I want to share this article with you. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put it on here so that you guys can follow the story with me. Let me see if I can make this a bit bigger. How big can we go? Hopefully I don't forget to move this back. All right. Full screen, you guys can see everything. I think you can read that. If you're in the portrait mode, I hope that you can. Yeah, you should be able to read that. All right, check this out. It says, check this. Just a quick read. Speaking at a European Political Community Summit in Yerevan, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said she would not support President Trump's potential decision to remove U.S. forces from Italy. Well, isn't that interesting? Well, it gets better. She emphasized that Italy has always honored its commitments to NATO. I quote, NATO, not the United States of America, not us, to NATO. Listen very carefully. including including in Afghanistan and Iraq, even when national interests were not directly involved. Her comments directly countered Trump's accusation that Italy has been unhelpful in the Iran conflict and signaled her intent to defend Italy's role within NATO despite political frictions. I think this is very interesting. You should be paying attention to this. This decision does not depend on me, she says. I personally do not agree with it. Italy has always fulfilled its obligations, always doing so within the framework of NATO, even when our direct interests were not at stake, as in Afghanistan and Iraq. But check this out, and this is the one thing that kind of pisses me off about NATO, because we know how it works. We know what we bring to the table, and we're not getting what we deserve. Let me give you this. Now, this is just Italy. Cutting Edge, how are you, my friend? Not yet. I haven't checked emails yet. I have not checked emails. Omar, I see you, little bro. Welcome back. Welcome back. 142, Chris. Jake says, I love Trump. I don't care if that offends anybody. And nobody will get offended over here except for some libtards that once in a while creep into our channel. They don't realize this is a MAGA channel. Make America Great channel. And Uncommon Woman, how are you? Uh-oh. The dimple compliments are coming back. I love it. I love it, and my wife loves it as well. Well, here's the thing. Remember, we are paying $980 billion. Think about this. Now, if you disagree with me, I'm sorry to tell you, but you are stupid. Listen to this. We pay $980 billion. Do you know who is the next country? Do you know, not forget about the country. Do you know how much the next donor pays? On second place, $66 billion. Ooh. And it goes lower and lower and lower for the other countries. Now, pay attention. Here we go. I just gave you the monetary help, okay? And this is to prove to you that we have an amazing country. And you and I, you should really continue to tell the truth and defend this nation, man. We are a great nation. Listen, China can brag about what they want. Russia can brag about what they want. Spain is a piece of shit, we know. You know, UK can brag about this and the king and the queen and the blah, 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 blah. We don't give a shit. France, Italy, we don't care. Germany, please. All these countries have horrible history here in America. With that being said, man, if I tell you, man, let's just get to the next part. Listen. Money. Almost $1 trillion we spend, okay? And, oh, well, she respects the NATO guidelines. Who cares if her friend, the United States of America, is doing what they believe is the right thing to do? Right now, Democrats, we don't give a shit about your input. We don't care about any libtards, any persons that voted for Kamala. We don't care about your opinion. We won. Understand? Stay in your lane, go sit down, and shut the hell up. Let us do our job. We used your so-loved democracy. We won. Get over it. We're doing what we believe is best. And what better proof than starting with tariffs? Democrats didn't care that we were losing hundreds of billions of dollars. Well, we do. We care. So we're doing something about it. Bam! Slamming tariffs. Slamming tariffs. Everybody said, oh my God, what are you doing? You crazy, senile, old man, don't know what you're doing. Every country came in and made a deal. Every country says, you know what, we're sorry. We have been taking advantage of you for so long. You're right, President Trump. We will lower our tariffs on the USA. Bottom line, hundreds of billions of dollars pouring back into our economy. We're using that for defense. We're using that for our military. We're using that for national security, the Golden Dome, etc., etc. Here we go. $980 billion we give to NATO. And what does NATO do? They pull down their pants and they gave us the full moon. And by the way, that is not the moon that we're trying to land on. You know what I'm saying? It was funny when I thought about it. All right, now I like Georgia. Okay, I do. I like Georgia. I like her. Okay? I think she's crazy. I think she's more conservative, but she's wrong. Now, I gave you the money. I gave you the tariffs. I gave you what we're getting back into our country. Here we go. The strategic importance of, listen to this, U.S. bases in Italy. Well, here we go. Let's talk about it. We are important to them when they need us. But they don't care or give a shit about us when we need them. This is like the bad friend that pretends to be your friend. You know what I'm saying? Always comes to you and say, hey, man, how you been? You know, I'm doing great, man. By the way, I'm doing this business opportunity. I want you to sign up with me. Shut the hell up. I don't need those kind of friends. Hey, man, how you doing, bro? Man, you're looking good, bro. Can I borrow $20? You know what? You don't have to borrow. Here's $20, bro. I hope it helps. And then you see them again. Hey, bro, can I borrow $5 from you? Oh, hell no. No, man. I ain't got no money. And you know they got money. That is the kind of friends that NATO is to us. They are not real friends. They are leeches. They are just there to take advantage of the gullible, of the stupid people like you and me, like this country, the United States of America. We should call it the United States of the idiots. That's what we should call it from now on. The United States of idiots that lets the world take advantage of them. All right, here we go. President Trump put tariffs on. Boom, reciprocal. If they tariff us, we tariff them. That's how simple. That's how that works. And it's worked. And then you have the greedy corporate. You know what? Forget it. We already know about the 100. Well, President Trump says 159, but I thought it was $166 billion that corporations want payback from tariffs. Listen, I don't give a shit right now about that. But remember, tariff work. We're still making hundreds of billions of dollars in. Well, now it's just 100 billion for this because we're losing 159. But nonetheless, every year, baby, every year, 2026 is collecting. We pass in the first quarter. We're collecting. You know what I'm saying? Now, $980 billion for NATO. And now, there we are. Strategic importance of U.S. bases in Italy. And let's add the UK and Germany and blah, and blah, and blah. Italy hosts between 12,000 to 15,000 U.S. military personnel across installations such as Aviano Air Base, Naval Air Station Sigonella, Camp Darby, and the 6th Fleet's headquarters in Gaeta. These facilities are critical for NATO's operations in the Mediterranean, North Africa, and the Middle East, providing staging points for surveillance, reconnaissance, and missile defense. Well. Isn't that just dandy? You call me crazy. I'm just a Gemini. I'm just a double dragon. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Just a Gemini dragon. That's all. What do I know? Nonsense. It's all lies, they say. Lies, lies, lies. Well. We went to Iran. We couldn't tell anybody. because there's too many soplones. There's too many leakers. Giving information to our enemies is not what we're into. President Trump knows better than that. He has learned. See, that's the one thing about us Geminis. We adapt. We are good survivors. Geminis are fantastic. Unless you're retarded. But Geminis are fantastic. Cancers are right next to us. Any significant reduction in U.S. presence could impact NATO's rapid response capabilities and its southern flank security posture. So not only are we giving $980 billion, almost we should just say $1 trillion. Let's just say $1 trillion. But we're also have thousands of troops. And without our troops, they can't do the things that they say NATO is so great at doing. What are you talking? What are you talking? Trump's broader withdrawal threats. Trump's remarks about probably pulling troops from Italy and Spain, which Spain definitely, 200%. Let's get the hell out of there. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Just fuck them all. Follows similar threats towards Germany. Yes, reflecting his dissatisfaction with European allies. Roles in the Iran war. Guys, it's common sense. President Trump is right. He's always right. He's right about everything. He's right about everything. The leftists hate it. The socialist, communist, Marxist, Democrats, they hate it. And they are fighting so hard to demonize us. The MAGA cult, the bigots, the racists, the fascists. We make all of the ethnicities make America great again. MAGA is all ethnicities, migrants, born Americans. We have a mix of everything, and we believe the same thing. So how can we be all those things? Well, we're not. But they like to fearmonger. They like to throw names out there. They like to really, really play down to, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. That's all they play. I'm sick and tired of the violin. I'm sick and tired of the violin. You got to have common sense. Listen to how important we are to NATO. And when we needed their help, they didn't understand. They didn't say, doggone it, President Trump and the United States of America, I hate it that you didn't tell us, but we understand. We understand. Yes, you can use our military bases. We didn't ask him to give us troops. We just said, let us use the base. Let us work from there. That's it. We don't need your money. We don't need your soldiers. We don't need your equipment. We got our own shit. We just need you. Listen, I just need you to let me crash on your yard. That's all we're saying. They said no. All of them. They said no. Spain and Italy have denied. Pisses me off reading this. U.S. military planes access to bases for Iran's operations. And Trump has criticized both as unhelpful. That was a kind word. While no formal withdrawal orders have been issued, the comments fit a pattern of using troop presence as leverage in disputes over burden sharing and foreign policy alignments. I don't care what these European coward leaders say. Macron is run by his wife, who Candace Owens believes is a man. Talking about Michael Obama. Listen, I think they're both women. I'm just saying. I'm blind. They're both women. Isn't it crazy that we give the most money and our American heroes is what's getting the job done? Why the hell do we have these people? Do you understand? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. I don't think you understand what I'm talking about. I don't think you understand what I'm talking about. If it wasn't for our troops, our equipment, our jet fighters, our naval force, they're screwed. Every single European country, it's screwed. Let me give you a small example. Let me give you a small example of what happens when a country denies the United States presence or denies to help the United States of America. There is a small country called the Philippines. Early 90s. The Filipino says, screw United States of America. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. That's what they said. They said it. They all said it. Get out of here. We don't need no Yankees. Get out, Joe. Get out, Joe. Joe's racist to them. To us, we don't care. We love the Joes. But they say, leave us alone. We don't need your ass over here. You know why the Filipinos say that? The Filipinos said that because they were having peace. Nobody fuck with them. Nobody. And they took it for granted. Sort of like socialist Democrats right now. And well. Once China found out, hey, let's start building some fake islands, artificial islands, so that we can get more maritime. That's right. And then you heard stories on the news. China crashes their Navy boats on the Filipinos. They were harassing the Filipinos. They were harassing the fishers, the fishermen. And the Philippines said, oh my God, what the hell, China? Oh, they're hurting us. They're destroying us. Shut the hell up. You said, Yankees, get out. You said, Joes, we don't want you here. Get out. That's what the Filipinos say. Doggone God comes in and says, enough of this garbage. Trump, come here. Get your ass over here. Listen, I know you're not the best. Believe me, you're not the best. But I'm going to make you president. Sick and tired of this devil doing this shit behind my back. So God puts Trump as our president. And this last year, the Filipino prime minister, the president, came into the Oval Office, brought President Trump a small gift, probably some lumpias, and a little bit of adobado. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. And he said, Trump, you are the greatest. You're the best. Best president in American history. We want you back. President Trump says, hey, listen. Where'd you go? Oh, so short. I didn't see you. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. You got it, bro. You got it. I told you it was a mistake to tell us to leave you alone. So what do? Boom, we send the badass Navy back to the Philippines. And well, what do you think happened? What do you think happened? China said, shit, I think we're just going to stay on this side of the ocean. Let's just continue to make artificial islands and make them bases. Oh, man. I'm telling you, man. I am nobody's bitch. Oh, sorry. Disclaimer, this channel is for 18 plus. I am not your average Christian. If you bring the Bible at me, I will tear you apart with it. If you hear me cursing, it is my freedom. I separate church from government. So when I speak politics, I am free. When I speak religion, I am free. I love it. I love it. So now the Philippines are safe again. You're welcome. You're welcome, Filipinos. We love you. I love you, but I think I love your lumpias a lot more. Oh, man, that was great, man. Filipinos are just like Mexicans, you know that? They're native. They're native to the land, but they're also Spaniard, colonized Spaniards. They're like Mexicans, basically. That's just the way it is. But you know what? It is true. Regardless of my clown attitude, it is true. Because the United States presence is there, China doesn't fuck with them anymore. Understand that. So there you go. I gave you a small example. Because of the United States of America, Venezuela, it's seeing some great changes in their country. Isn't that great? But the leftist socialist garbage won't tell you that. CNN won't tell you that. ABC, even less. MSN 13, even less. None of the leftist media will tell you that the Philippines are better today because of the United States of America. And I said, make the Philippines safe again. And Trump did. And Trump saw that it was good. Oh, man. Isn't it great to be informed? I think it's fantastic to be informed. Let's continue reading. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Potential scenarios for NATO and the Mediterranean security. If the U.S. forces were reduced in Italy, I say we'll get rid of them. We'll bring them all home. You know what? We'll put them in countries that are willing to work with us. NATO might need to redistribute some assets to other Southern European and Mediterranean locations, potentially increasing reliance on France or Greece. Oh my God, are you telling me that Greece and France now, they have to defend themselves instead of us defending them? You goddamn right. Goddamn right. Alternatively, Italy could respond by boosting its own defense, spending, and capabilities to fill the gap, aligning with calls from other European leaders for greater self-reliance. Golf clap. Well done, Italy. You should be independent. You should be self-reliant. Man, it's a great show today. I'm going to tell you, these libtards don't like facts. They don't like to hear the truth. They like sugar-coated lies. That is how they thrive. Conversely, a negotiated compromise could see the United States maintain its Mediterranean footprint in exchange for broader European support in conflicts like the one in Iran. Preserving alliance cohesion. Are you guys with me? If you were with me, say hell yeah on the chat. If you're not with me, I'm talking to my ass. Hey, I wanted to share that story. That's fantastic, ain't it? It's fantastic. It proves that we continue to be right, doggone it, about everything we say. We continue to be right about everything that we say. Hell yeah. And don't I know it, folks? Don't I know it? This is why we get paid the big bucks. Gee, bro, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see. I want to see some hell yeah on the chat. So do you see why? If you you know what? Let me share one more thing. Let me share one more thing. I'm telling you, man, you guys think that I don't do my research. I'm always thinking about everything. Listen, I don't need to read much on this, but we're going to take a look at some graphics. Here we go. Only because I was inspired by CNN. That's right. Not that they were trying to, but, yeah, you know, the news. The news will do this to you. Here we go. Check out this graph. Let me try to make this big. Boom. Okay? Yeah, I think you can read that. Political party affiliation amongst U.S. adults from 2020 to 2025. Well. It looks like we have Democrats, or those who lean Democrat. They went from 33% Democrats to 28, and from leaning Democrats 16, they went up 2 points. They went to 18. The independents, which are mostly Democrats, they call themselves independent because they are ashamed of the Democratic Party. But the moment that they get into power, they switch to Democrat. That's just the way that they cheat. But that's okay. Now, those who lean Republican, they went from 14 to 15%. While we went from 29% Republicans to 31% Republican. Now, I know that this is back in 2025, and a lot of leftist people are over here chanting, hoping for the midterms. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I'm going to say this. You guys better start paying attention on who actually is being sponsored. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? Because Vivid, the Indian guy, I don't know what his name is. I forgot his name. But I know it's Vive, right? Or Vive? I don't know. Vivek. Vivek. You know the dude. The guy. You know the guy. The Indian that was running for president. He's messing up. Because he says, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't share because I don't want to take away the votes. Okay? But I'm going to say this. If you're going to vote for Republicans, period. Okay? He messed up with the Christians. Because we believe that God sent his only begotten son to die on the cross for us. Now, let me explain something to you. Every son of God, starting from Adam, not the other humans that were made already, starting from Adam, those are creations. Listen to this. Those are creations. It's sort of like a level of fathery, right? We're creations. So those that come from the descendancy of Adam, those are sons of God. But when we're talking about Jesus Christ, we have to understand what only begotten son means. This is not just God blowing the breath of life into clay. Hey, Bernal, how are you? Good to see you. Burning 47. The Holy Spirit created himself as Jesus from a virgin. Nobody compares to Jesus. So Vive's actually mistake is he believes that Jesus Christ is one of the sons. I don't blame him. He's Hindu. They have thousands of gods, hundreds of thousands of gods. It's crazy, but they do. They think they become cows when they die. But anywho, I want you to do this. Don't concentrate on whether he is a Christian or not, because the values which he judges with are actually good. And so if he was to be a governor, a mayor, I think he would do a good job. So I'm not going to put him down for that, but if you're going to judge him by religion, don't do that. Don't judge people by their religion. The only people that I want you to judge by their religions is Muslims. That's it. We don't want Muslims in power. And unfortunately, many Americans have made a mistake. Well, I'm going to say something. I don't even believe that it's all Americans. I believe that they have been bringing their own people, make them citizens, so that they can be appointed. Just think about it. Think about it. You got hundreds of thousands of people who became citizens that now can vote. In the last 18 years, they had a 5 to 10 ratio babies against Americans. Multiply that. You got over 1 million people right there that are going to be supporting Muslim Sharia law. Over 1 million, just right there on 100,000. I know, they make a lot of babies. I'm multiplying by 10. I'm exaggerating. But think about it. This is just in one area. Throughout the whole country, we got more than that. We got way more than that. So here we go. Let's take a look at another graph. This graph, look at this. Republicans, obviously it's red, Democrats blue, and no lean refused, right? Independent. White, all the way at the bottom. Republicans, by man, okay, by man, most men went Republican. Most women went Democrat. What a coincidence. Women. Most of the women go and vote Democrats. Unbelievable. Females, American women. American woman, get away from me. Listen, women, you got to stand up for your rights. And what I mean stand up for your rights, I mean don't vote for Democrats anymore. Do it for your children's future. No more voting Democrats. They fucked everything up. They ruined it. They ruined it. You got to understand, your vote matters. And by the way, there are more illegal immigrants or non-citizens who have voted in our elections. Nah, that's right. They don't want us to look into it. But if we start looking more and more and more, we're going to start finding more and more illegal, meaning residents voting in our elections when they're not supposed to. But most women are Democrats. Unbelievable. I need our women to have our back. Vote Republican, but make sure it's a real Republican, because a lot of Democrats are out there and they're just fake Republicans. By race. Oh boy. Unbelievable. You know why the minorities vote more for Democrats? Because they always throw the victim card. They always throw the victim card and say, oh, look at Republicans. They don't care about you. But in reality, they are the party of the KKK. The socialist Democrats, as much as they want to be non-racist, they are. They are racist and they're stupid. Again, nobody knows who you are. If you change your mind about something, well, Jose Lopez, he's one of the pieces of shit that is destroying our country. But besides him, nobody knows who is who on my chat. So if you are against us and you're a libtard, stay quiet so nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? Stay quiet. No college degree. Look at this. Republicans. The smart people going up. Democrats going down. High school or less. This, I think I will give credit to Charlie Kirk for making that big wave of Republicans go up. And I hope that we get this back up again. We really need to do it. Now, guys, let me say something, okay? If you don't really truly believe in God, shut the hell up about crusaders. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. I wish you did so that we can have a conversation about it, but you don't. You're an ignorant fool who doesn't believe in God, and all you can do is troll and trash Christians. Why don't you go and troll and trash Muslims and see how tough you get? You only come over here and talk shit because you know that we put up with your bullshit. Well, not really, because you're banned, you get kicked, you're out of here. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, I can tell you that all the smart people, all the people that have had enough with lies from the socialist Democrats are turning Republican. We just gained 4 more seats. If we gain more, somebody can correct me on that. But we have gained 4 more seats on the Republican side. And only because we were inspired. We were inspired by Democrats. Started to doing some racist gerrymandering over here. Wait, what? Yeah. This racist redistricting. They inspired us. And well, we came out on top. I'm sorry. Cryo, if you don't speak Spanish, I'm sorry. You got to go. Learn to speak some English. You too, Rudy. Learn some English. Do you hear me speaking Spanish right now? No. So shut the hell up with the Spanish. As much as I love my Spanish, this is not a Spanish channel. With that being said, don't bitch and whine and complain why you get kicked. You don't follow the rules, and you're over here speaking Spanish when nobody else is going to understand. You got to go. You got to go. I give you facts every single day, every single time. When we tell you that what we're doing in Iran is the right thing to do. If you don't support us, you are against us. The whole European countries, the whole continent, all the countries in the Europe failed us. I feel betrayed. Listen, if I was your leader and I see, Cryo, don't make me block you here. Don't make me block you here. If I see that every time that I try to do something to help my family, and the moment that I tell my friends it doesn't happen, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to tell you shit. I'm just going to do what I have to do. And if you really are my friend, I will see it. NATO failed us big time. We give them the most money. We are $940 billion donating above the closest person, which is $66 billion. I don't hear any socialist Democrat bitching about $980 billion to NATO. Not one. Not one socialist Democrat. Oh, $980 billion for NATO. Oh, we'll give them some more. Nobody bitches about it. Nobody. We started making money for the USA because of tariffs. And what do people do? The socialist Democrats betray us again. Always fighting against us. And the world continues to watch. And I keep warning you over and over and over. Illegal immigration is a problem. They see how much socialist Democrats are fighting for illegal immigrants, and they don't give a damn about American citizens. So you know what we start to hear? In Texas, more sardines being smuggled into the United States of America. They're trying to smuggle people again. And the people with properties on the border river, they don't want the wall because it takes away the beautiful view of the river. Of what? Mojados coming across the river? And then you bitch and complain that some illegal immigrant just ran through your yard. People are so unbelievable. We need to get rid of more government. We definitely need smaller government. Smaller government. Less taxpayer dollars going to incompetent DEI hires. Thankfully, and I don't know if he's just saying this to throw us off the scent, but Dalabama, Hakeem Jeffries, says we're in a warfare. A serious warfare here in our country. No more DEI, no more. Hey, man, listen. We don't need that shit. If you want to do something, you better earn or prove that you can do that. Bye, Fernando. Thanks for stopping by, bro. A chingar su madre, cabrón. Anywho. I know, Cutting Edge. I know. But the reason why they feel emboldened to do it is because Democrats keep fighting us. They keep fighting us. And these people that are bitching and complaining, I wouldn't put it past, bro, that they are involved with the cartels. I'm 100%. I agree with you. Woo! Man! Just a dose of truth here in the Dennis Herrera Show. And doggone it, my members, I love you so much. I forgot to update the list again. Man, but I got to do it, bro. Thank you, my patrons. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Okay, I will update my list tonight before I go to bed. Okay? And then tomorrow I will show every current member. Appreciate you all. All right, let's get to the party. What we're here for, and that is to listen to our great POTUS, the Great White Hope. And all this us on the chat are going to be throwing a fit, but doggone it, I got to get my dose of the Great POTUS, the Great Orange Man, which most people recognize as the Great White Hope. Don't worry, all you illegal immigrants, all you got to do is just go back home. No big deal. It's not racist to say it. Just go back home. Just go back home. I'm not telling you that you're a thief. I'm not telling you that you are a rapist, a murderer. I'm not saying that you're a criminal, illegal immigrant. I'm not going to say all those things. Just go back home. Okay? Self-deport, get some money, and then have a chance to come back. And you'll get a chance to come back the right way. You know who won't do that? Actual criminals. Okay? Okay. If you are working in this country, let me warn you right now, that is a felony. If you are working here without permits, there is a loophole. But I'm not going to tell everybody because maybe some people don't know about it yet. But a lot of people are already using it. All right, Mr. POTUS, hit it.
Well, we have a great group of people outside. I just looked at their wares, and it's beautiful stuff. Made in America. It's great, great stuff. Please sit down. I'm thrilled to be with you and welcome you to the most fabulous place the White House is. Nothing quite like it. People come from all over the world. The King and Queen were just here, and they looked and they said, this place is just amazing. When they came into the Oval Office, they said, this is something. And they've seen some very nice places. They've seen some great rooms, but it is a very special place as we celebrate National Small Business Week. So let me begin by saying congratulations to the small business people of the year from all 50 states. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and you can be proud of yourself. Our country is made up of a lot of small businesses, and that ends up being a really big business. As small business owners and operators, the people in this room represent the 36 million small businesses who create 40% of all economic activity in the United States. Think of that. A group of people added together. You're essentially the most important factor business-wise in the whole country. And this country is leading the whole world. We are now. That I can tell you by a lot. You're the lifeblood of the American economy, and with your help, we're truly making America great again. We're doing record business. We have a stock market that hit even with this military operation, call it whatever you want. We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. We hit all new highs, and I said we have to take care of business because we can't let that happen. So we did a little detour, and it's working out very nicely. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. They have no radar. They have no nothing. They have no leaders, actually. The leaders happen to be gone also. But can't let them have a nuclear weapon, or you'd have problems like nobody would believe. And it's going very well. We're also pleased to be joined this afternoon by Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, who's been amazing. Where's Chris? Except everybody was wrong. They thought that energy would be at $300, right? $300 a barrel, and it's like at 100. And I think going down, and I see it going down very substantially when this is over, Chris. And I think very rapidly too, at levels that you've never seen, because there's a lot of energy out there of ships all over the world that are loaded up with it. They can't do much with it because they got kidnapped by a pretty evil place, but we're taking care of it. We have Administrator Kelly Loeffler, who's incredible, and she's the head of the Small Business Administration. We're thinking about a name change, but I don't know. It's still pretty good name. And I always say the small business is a giant business, because when you add up your whole department, that's not a small business. That's a really big business, the biggest. Under the last administration and their radical left allies in Congress, small businesses were brutally crushed by the worst inflation in American history. We had the worst inflation under Biden that we've ever had. And I always like to correct, because if I don't correct, then the papers, the media goes crazy. He made a mistake. Well, the official number is 48 years. I say the worst in it because I don't believe the 48 years. I say it was worse than that. But in many ways, 48 years sounds worse than in history. I don't know why. But it was 48 years or worse. It was in a Biden inflation. This is what I inherited. And now we had it down where just prior to the war, the inflation was 1.4%. And for 3 months, over a 4-month period, took me a little while to get it down from the levels it reached. Biden added $6 trillion worth of new regulations and created an estimated 356 hours of paperwork every year for small businesses. You know what that means better than anybody. It means no good. Their policies punish hardworking citizens, and our policies protect you and reward you. And also, we have to have something else that I think is good for your businesses. We are respected all over the world now, again, as a country. We were laughed at. We were a joke we're a total joke. Right, Rick? I see Rick, my television star over here. He's been with us from the beginning, haven't you? Like maybe from the first speech. Long time, right? Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I think we're doing good for you, Rick, right? And you're doing good with your shop?
Everything's amazing.
And I know you're doing good on the television camera, so that's maybe more.
Like 10 years.
Oh, that's good. That's great. Thank you, Rick. Last summer, I proudly signed the great, big, beautiful bill, the largest tax cuts in the history of our country, and boosting millions of small businesses. Thank you. Boosting millions of small businesses. We passed no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our seniors. That's big stuff. And we add that to the package that we approved in my first term. We had the best financial years in the history of our country in my first term, and I think we're going to blow them away this term. You know, in this term, we have $18 trillion being invested in our country. And if you look at the last administration, they had less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We have $18 trillion during 11 months. The 12th month hasn't come in yet in terms of the numbers. But in 11 months, $18 trillion investments. We have auto plants being built all over the country, AI plants and we're leading China in AI. And I'm going to go see President Xi in 2 weeks. I look forward to that, but I'll say I'm leading. We have very friendly competition. But it'll be a very important trip. We provided 100% expensing and bonus depreciation, which is tremendous. One of the biggest things that you have. I mean, it's people have no idea how big that is. The businesses do, so that businesses can deduct 100% of the cost of new facilities, equipment, and capital investment in the first year. It used to take 38 years of deduction. Now you get it done in one. You can take one, so you can expand. I think that's what made us so successful in the first term. But now we have it for a 10-year period. So you have it for a while. I really was going to make it for a 1 year period. That would mean you spend all your money immediately. Now, unfortunately, I gave you too much time. I was sort of against that. I said, let's do it for a shorter period of time, but we did it. It's the right thing. And this way, when I get out of office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years from now, I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to use it myself. And to ensure that you and your family can keep your businesses in the family, we virtually eliminated the unfair estate tax or death tax for farmers and for small businesses. So, you know, oftentimes I just met some incredible people. They have beautiful businesses, small businesses. They want to have their children. Those businesses were all long-term. The father was there, right? We're just talking about with the beautiful pretzels. I said, pretzels, oh, those look good. I wanted to take some right now, but I didn't want to be rude and rip your bag apart. But the businesses they've been in business for a long time, almost every one of them. And you pass away, you want to have your children take over your business. They work in your business, and they got hit with the estate tax, or we call it the death tax, but we call it both. It does the same thing. And they couldn't afford it. They went out, they take the business, they mortgage it up to pay the tax, and they end up losing the business. They end up going bankrupt. They end up, in many cases, committing suicide. We have a lot of that. You have a lot, especially farms, you know. They want to be on that farm. They don't want to lose their farm. And it's land rich and cash poor. And they go out and they borrow and keep borrowing. We ended that. No more estate taxes on farms and small businesses. So I hope everyone's appreciative of it. Now, if you don't like your children, it doesn't mean anything. But if you do like to leave them to somebody that you love, then it's a big deal for them. You have other problems, but for them, it's a big deal. And I want to say thanks to these tax cuts. 12 million American small businesses got an average tax cut of over $7,000, and our pass-through deduction alone is delivering an average of $4,600 in savings to 8 million entrepreneurs, and is projected to generate $750 billion in economic growth for the country. It's really amazing. I see it on the television. I don't call this fake news because this is real fake news, but when you look at some of the things that have taking place. We don't get covered correctly. But in terms of the truth, we're having $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000, $11,000 with no tax on tips and no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. And people are making sometimes 11. I mean, I've seen it just where they're asking people virtually on the street, how is it doing? And everyone's surprised, including me. I didn't know it was going to be as much, but I knew it was going to be a lot. But you have people that make an extra $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a year between the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime is a big one. It's a big one. But the no tax on tips was great. I won the. Typically, I don't know why. I can't imagine people voting for the other side with their policies on everything beyond this, long beyond this. But we won Nevada by a lot, and typically Democrats win that state. And no tax on tips. A lot of people getting tips in Nevada, so it had a big impact on people, and much bigger than they thought. And they're just now starting to realize how big and how really wonderful the great big beautiful, I call it the great big beautiful bill is, because we really, it should be called the great big beautiful tax cut bill and regulation cut bill. We put everything in 4 years. If we didn't pass another bill, which won't happen because you always want to keep going, but everything was put into this one bill. That's why it's called the Great Big Beautiful Bill. And one of the things that happened is we were going to do it over 17 different bills. And I said, let's give it a shot. Put everything in one bill. And thank goodness we did it, because the Democrats don't approve anything. They don't approve. You can have the best thing. It can be for security. Look at the security. They want to defund ICE. They want to defund our incredible Border Patrol. They want to, essentially, they want to defund the police, but they don't want to say it. It's crazy what's going on. So we put it all at the beginning. We have a little honeymoon period, a tiny little honeymoon period in this case, so we got it all approved. Late at night, it got approved. And this was really done as a 4-year bill, Kelly. You know that very well. You were a big part of it. And we got it done, and everybody was surprised. They thought we had to do it in little tranches. I don't know that we would have gotten the little tranches done. There was so much in here that people had to approve it. And if we would have done it individually, I'm not sure it would have gotten done. Plenty of those individual elements would not have gotten done. And almost as important as the tax cuts, we've slashed a record number of job-crushing regulations. That includes for you, and that includes tremendous numbers of environmental regulations, which stopped your businesses, but they didn't do anything, and they had no impact. If anything, they made the environment worse. But we eliminated 129 old regulations for every new one that was approved. It was supposed to be 1 in 10, and it's turning out to be 129. So for every regulation, think of that, 129, we lose them, we get rid of them. It was supposed to be 1 in 10. We would have been happy with, we did 1 in 12. We started off 1 in 7 with my last administration. We got it up to about 1 in 12. Now I see we have a 1 in 129. So we're getting rid of 129 nonsense regulations for every new one that we pass. And thanks to these pro-growth policies, our economy is roaring, and factory construction is way up. Consumer confidence is way up. Business investment is more than triple compared to that of just a short time ago. And before I took office, nobody can believe it. And nobody can believe the $18 trillion number that we gave you, because it's a record for any country, not just here, it's for any country. And a lot of that had to do with November 5th, but a lot of it had to do with tariffs. We charge tariffs to companies when they come in. A couple of you were just saying to me that you're getting hurt by China and other countries making a product that's not as good, but it's less money because of the fact that there were no guards, no safeties for you, and we've changed a lot of it. Some have said you've absolutely saved our business, but because of the use of tariffs, we have all this money. Because if they come in and build a business here, if they build their plant here, there are no tariffs. Jobless claims just hit the lowest level since 1969, and more Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. So we have more people working today than at any time in the history of our country. That's a beautiful. That's so beautiful. I mean, what can be better than that? You say, like somebody was saying, oh, will AI take our jobs? Well, we have a lot of AI up. They said it's going to take jobs. I said, well, you're probably right, maybe a little bit, but it's going to create a lot of jobs. And did you know that more people are working in the United States right now than ever before? They said, no, is that true, really? That's the end of that argument. And a lot of good things are happening. And leading in AI is very important because that's a tremendously big industry. And we want to be able to lead. Primarily it's China, but other countries are very much active in it also. Under the last administration, 1 in 4 new jobs was a government job, but since my inauguration, 100%, think of that, 100% of all new jobs have been in the private sector, 100%. We cut a lot of government jobs. And 2 of the 3 new jobs have been in small businesses, but I just want to say, so think of that, 100% of new jobs are in the private sector. Now, to do that, we cut tremendous numbers of governmental jobs. And I feel sorry for everyone, and it's a hard thing to do. Many of those people voted for me, but now they like me because they went out, they got private sector jobs that they like better, and it's paying them sometimes 2 and 3 times more money. So it's worked out the right way, but you have to do that. You can't just we had government jobs where you'd have 10 people doing the job of 1 person, and you can't make America great that way. So we did it the hard way, but the correct way. And the correct way, big difference, right, Cal? You see it. It's nobody's ever seen anything quite like it, and it was, especially working here, it's tough because this is the home of federal jobs. I wouldn't say I got tremendous. I mean, we won the election in a landslide. We won all 7 swing states. We did all the things that you've heard so many times with counties, which is a big count. That's why you see the map is all red practically. When you look at it, we won 86% of the counties in the country. But here is a little bit different. But now, if you look at those people, some of them have left. And by the way, speaking of that, Washington, D.C., which was very unsafe a year ago, a little more than a year ago, is now one of the safest cities in the United States. So, pretty good. So we had to cut the jobs because we were way bloated with federal jobs. And, I could, with one swipe of the pen, I could say, let's have no employment, and I'll hire 1 million people or 2 million people. I say, we just hired 1 million people, and we have absolutely no employment. And that's what they would do. They'd have bad numbers coming up, so they'd hire a couple of 100,000 people, and the numbers would look okay. With me, it's the exact opposite. We terminate a lot of federal jobs that are unnecessary, and they don't like me for doing it, but a year later, they like me because they end up having a much better job, oftentimes in a place where they'd much rather live. They go to the place that they want to go. They're not stuck in Washington or someplace else. And they do much better. And in the end, I've had a lot of people come up. They say, I was so angry at you, but now I'm making sometimes 2 or 3 times the money in a job that I really like. So you got to do what you have to do. You have to, politically, I don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I think it's probably bad, maybe politically. But in the meantime, I'm in the White House, so maybe it's good. A lot of times, as you probably heard, the fake news media treats me very, very badly. 93% of the stories I get are bad, and yet I won in a landslide. How do you win all 7 swing states when you get only bad press? It's fake press. They give me fake polls. They tell me about polls and this. It's interesting. They did a poll on the war with Iran, and they said only 32% of the people like it. Well, I don't like it, and I don't like war at all, but we're equipped better than it. We have the greatest military in the world. You saw what happened with Venezuela. You see what happens with everything. But they said 32% of the people are against President Trump. Well, when you explain it, like, is it okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon? It wouldn't be 32%. But even if you said that, there'd be a 32% because the polls are fake. They're totally fake. And when you take a look at what's really going on, the other day I made a speech in a great Florida senior citizens community, and I made another one at the Kravis Center, 2 in one day. It was wonderful. I go out and make a speech. Then I say, all right, let's go home. Sir, you're making another speech, and this one's in front of the richest people in the world. I went from an unbelievable group of seniors. Now, of course, I'm not a senior. I'm far younger than a senior. It's true. I feel the same as I felt 50 years ago. I don't know. There'll be a period of time when I don't tell you that. There'll be, because I'm honest, I'll say, it's not looking good. I have to be careful. If I said, as an example, I'm not feeling well, they put on, Donald Trump is not feeling well, because they won't know that I'm using that as just a reference point, and they'll say, listen to this. I'll say, I'm not feeling well. Well, someday I might say that to you, and you'll be the first to know. Actually, I won't have to say it, because you'll be able to see it, just like you did in the last administration. You know, one of the things I said is that we should have, in my opinion, anybody running for president or vice president should take a cognitive test. And no president has ever taken one except me. I've taken 3 of them, and I've aced each one. 1 in the first administration, 2 over here. And whenever they get a little sassy, like, does he still have it? Does he still have what it takes? I say, all right, I'll take another one. And they are hard. There are many people in this room I know that are smart. They're not going to ace them. There are many people standing back there, the fake news media. I'd like to have them. You know, the first question is very easy, and they always show the first question is, you have a lion, a bear, an alligator, and what's another good? A squirrel, okay? Which is the squirrel? So they show that question, and then the first 4 or 5 questions they get a little more difficult. By the time you get to the middle, they're tough. By the time you get to the end, I don't want to be insulting, but there won't be. I'm not going to do what Gavin Newsom said. You saw him? He said, everybody in here is stupid, and he's stupid. I think it was the worst political interview I've ever seen. He said, he's stupid, he's dumb, he gets bad marks on everything, he can't read a speech, and nobody wants to report that. It was the worst, but I won't say that because I think everyone in this room is brilliant, but nobody's going to get all 30 questions correct. Nobody. Because when you get to those last questions, they're pretty hard. You got to be pretty sharp. But every time, so I've taken 3. No president, think of this, has ever taken 1. How do you think Biden would have done? I don't think, he might not have gotten that first question right. Anyway, and Obama would have done poorly. They would have done very poorly, but I think you should have it. As soon as they said that, they say, it's unconstitutional. And I said, why? They say it's unconstitutional to give a cognitive test like that. But Rick, I do it anytime they start getting a little sassy. And you know, it quiets them down for almost a year when they hear the result. One doctor said, it's the first time I've ever seen anyone get all questions right. That's a doctor who does this stuff for a living. And I did it 3 times. So I don't know. I think I'm done with those days. I'm tired of taking that test. You know, you sit before a group of doctors and they ask you questions. I said to Ronnie Jackson, he was original, right? First time. I said, so what do you think, Ronnie? They call me a genius who's going to destroy the country. Then they said, he's a genius who's taken over the entire world. Then they said, he's a total moron. This guy is so stupid. And then, so whenever I hear that one, I say, let's take the cognitive test. But I really think it would be a great thing if you could do that. They say it's not constitutional, but I think it would be good. And I can tell you, a lot of the people that run these small businesses, you could take the cognitive test and you could do a lot better than some of the people that we talk about. But I really believe it. I think it's so important for our country. We have to make sure we have the right people leading this country. Like, we have a war right now, and we're to 6 weeks? They said, what's taking so long? We were in Vietnam 19 years. We're in Iraq for many years, 10 years, 12 years. We were in all these different wars. Korea, 7 years. I won't even mention World War II. That's a big baby. But you have the wrong person up here, you'll be in World War III. As sure as you're sitting there, you have the wrong person up there. It's nasty and tricky. It's tricky out there. We have to have the right people, and they have to be sharp and they have to be smart. Because one thing about your business is small businesses are great, but if you don't have the platform, meaning the country, meaning the right principles, the right everything, our country's booming now, despite the fact that we're in I call it a mini war, because that's all they are. They don't have a Navy anymore. Think of it. They had 159 ships. How many do they have left, Kelly? Out of 159, take a guess. She's very smart. 0. 159 ships. In the first 2 weeks, 159 ships. I actually got very upset. I said, how quality were the ships? They were very good. I said, why didn't you just take the ship? Why do you have to send it to the bottom of the sea? We could have had, and let's say out of the 159, we could have taken 59. We would have had 59. But they'd rather blow them up than save them. I would have preferred saving them, but these are minor details. But one of the small business owners who can tell us firsthand how our tax cuts are boosting revenue is someone you may have heard, and I made mention of the fact he has been with me. I don't know, maybe he doesn't like me, or maybe he loves me. I think I'd rather be liked than loved by him, although he is a very handsome man, I would say. But he's somebody that we all know, and I think he's a fantastic guy, and he's been to so many rallies, so many speeches, and I love being able to introduce him because he's a champion, he's a winner. You know, to go on television and to make it, he made it big, but to go on television, I don't know if you know this, Rick, 5% of the shows make it. 2% of the shows make it pretty good. 1% of the shows make it. So it's very risky to do a television show and I did The Apprentice, and that was one of the great hits of a long time. But you did your show, and I've just always admired. I admire people that will go against the odds. And when you do a television show, you're going, because very, very few of them make it, and you made it big. So I'd like to have Rick Harrison come up. It's a gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas, and you know his show very well. And say a few words, Rick. Come on up. You're looking good. Thank you, Rick. Come on up.
All right. Usually I like announcement rallies, and they give you like 3 minutes notice, and I can't come up with a speech, and they've literally just told me a couple hours ago to take a little speaking. I just want to say he's amazing. He's done so much. I mean, so much for all of us. I mean, the backbone of this country is small business, plain and simple. And the last guy in office, all we heard was that we were the evil people, we were the bad people, everything else like that. We don't pay our fair share, whatever that's supposed to be. And he made it tough. And this guy, the big beautiful bill, absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? God bless you for letting me get 100% depreciation. It really helps out. And all I can say is, this is literally, I mean, I'm a history buff, and I know a lot about this White House thing and everything. Literally, he's going to go down as maybe the best president ever. I love this guy.
Wow. I'm glad we didn't tell you, because actually that was much better than when you're fully prepared. When he comes up fully prepared. No, that was great. Thank you very much. And very special guy. Thank you. Very nice. One of the strongest, and by the way, right behind me, see this? You call it a room. This is the biggest room in the White House. Not big enough to have anything. We had the king here. We had like 102 people, and we could have had 2,000 people, literally. But this is, I call it a knockout panel. See, some people would say, oh, that's a curtain. Underneath that curtain is a window. Outside of that window is the new ballroom. So I said, I'll get out of here, and I'll let you guys, if you want to see a beautiful structure going up, complex, safe, things that could never happen like happened a week ago. That was a pretty bad situation. You can't have 1,000 units over the ballroom with an entrance right next to where you are for a lot of reasons. So if you want, we're going to open that up. I think later on you'll open it up, let the people take a look, and it would be pretty good. Not as exciting as looking at oil wells like Chris gets to do all day long, right? And speaking of that, we're doing well in Venezuela, right? It's working good?
Yes, we are, Mr. President.
Yeah, that was good. That war took us approximately 48 minutes. And actually, and we have a great relationship. And you know what? I heard the other day that the people of Venezuela are really happy. They're seeing things happen that they haven't seen in 20 years. they're working, and there's a spirit in Venezuela that they haven't had in many, many years. And the big companies are coming in now, and they're building these giant rigs because there's a lot of oil in Venezuela, a lot of other things too, and a lot of great people. And we have people in charge that are doing a fantastic job, and they're working with you, and you are doing a fantastic job. So thank you very much, Rick. Good job. Proud of you.
People of Venezuela are very thankful for your proud and bold leadership to change the trajectory
Come
of
here.
their lives.
This was so good, I said, you better come up.
No, I want to say, as you engage with the people of Venezuela and the businesses, I will tell you that President Trump is incredibly popular with the people of Venezuela. It's a nation of 30 million people going the wrong way for 25 years. And a bold leadership of this president changed the trajectory of that country, changing the futures of all those people, wanting millions of Venezuelans abroad to go back to that country. American businesses are stampeding in to invest in that country. 25 years trying everything going the wrong way. His bold leadership and creative thinking changed the game. Thank you, Mr. President.
Wow, thank you. That's good. We have a great relationship. We have hundreds of millions of barrels of oil coming out of Venezuela, going to Houston and different places to have it refined. And we're sort of, it's almost really a partnership. The man you just heard speaking, Chris, has been, he wasn't my choice. I had somebody else for Department of Energy, a fantastic man, Doug Burgum. And I said, I want you to head up energy. He says, no, there's one person better than me, is better than anybody. I said, who the hell is that? Chris Wright? And he said, who's Chris Wright? Tell me. And he's like the number one guy in the whole world at this subject. And I said, well, let's talk to him. I don't know. He probably makes a lot of money if he's doing that. And he was. He's taken one of the largest salary cuts in history, I'll tell you, without question. But he's done a fantastic job. These are the people we have. We have great people. Doug is great. He was the governor of North Dakota. He ran an incredible state. He was very successful in business. He started with a small business. He sold it for $1 billion to Microsoft. And he wanted to do what Trump did. He said, I want to be a business guy, and now I want to run. I made a lot of money. I want to run. So Doug Burgum ran, and he became a great governor for 8 years. He was term limited. And I saw him at a session, a speaking session, and sort of a debating session. I thought he was great. And I said, if I win, I'm going to get that guy in. And he's now heading up, he's now the largest landlord in the world, I guess you could say, right? Department of Interior. And he's been fantastic. But he wanted Chris to be energy. So he's got all the power of the energy, but he doesn't have the land. Doug has none of the power of him, but he has the land. So I merged them. It's a friendly merger. We don't have any papers. They just get along together, right? And I think today we've announced we're drilling more oil by far than we ever have in the history of our country. More oil and gas by far. And this was just said, but this took place almost from the beginning, right? We got it started very, very early. So you're doing a great job. Doug was right. And we're also very happy with Doug because he's doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate it. So one of the strongest effects of our tax cuts and tariffs is the Trump manufacturing boom, is what they're calling it, because that's what we have. We have never had anything like what's happening now. And when I talk about, again, the $18 trillion, that's coming in and building places. And as we speak, American companies are ordering core capital goods for factory construction and operation expansion. And you saw the construction numbers. Now, the plants will be opening over the next period of time, pretty soon. But, we just got started. And these plants are going to be opening. Right now, the big numbers, the construction jobs in the country are going through the roof. And ultimately, when the plants open, then you're going to have manufacturing jobs, because right now the plants, many of them haven't opened, but they're under construction. When you see the final numbers, you're not could even believe what you are seeing, because there's never been any construction boom of factories like we have right now. Where we lost our car industry. We lost 54% of our car industry to Canada, Mexico, Germany, Japan, South Korea, other countries. 54% over the years, over a period of probably 30, 35 years. And they're all coming back. They're all coming back. And they're coming back at levels that has never been seen before. It's pretty amazing. Well, you see, you'll see it. It can't be disguised by our friends that would, I guess, I don't know. I see so many of them smiling and having a good time that I actually think they probably like us. I think their bosses say, treat Trump as badly as you possibly can. But they had so many good faces, and so many, they are a lot of professionals there. But it's the highest rate in over 4 decades. And under 4 years of the Biden administration, real wages for manufacturing workers fell. It fell $840. Under 1 year of Trump, wages for factory workers, manufacturing factory workers, increased by $2,500. So think of that. Under Biden, it fell $840. And under Trump, it went up $2,500. That's quite a difference. And as I said, you haven't seen the real effect because these factories are being built right now. When they open, you're going to see numbers that are much greater than that. And a lot of these government workers, good people, and I don't blame them for liking what they had, but they're going to all be in this system, and they're going to be making double and triple what they were making in government. We have a country again, because you can't have a country that works where you have literally 10 people to do one job. You can't have it. You can't have a great country. Earlier this year, I visited Costa Steel in Rome, Georgia, before I took office. China and other countries were taking more of our industry all the time, just more and more. And Costa was hit very hard. Their core business dropped from 2 shifts to 6 days a week. And the 2 shifts were during my administration, by the way. But now it's down to and then ultimately is down to 1 shift operating 3 days, and it was going down to 1 day, and they expected to go out of business. There was no stopping it. And now, thanks to the tax cuts and the steel tariffs that I put on, Costa is thriving like never before. I just heard from them, and they're at now full shifts, 2 full shifts, 6 days a week, and they may go to a 3rd shift round the clock. Think of that, round the clock. They've never had that before, and they've have the backlog of 7 months long of things that they're building, steel products, great. And they said, I was with the gentleman that owns the company. He thought he was going out of business, and now he said, now I have a great business in just a period of literally a year and a half. It's we thought we couldn't stop it. And he said, all of my friends up and down the line, they have different businesses, factories, big businesses, but they all thought they were going out of business, and now they're all doing better than they've ever done before. They've gone from employing, in this case, 50 people to 125 people, and the 50 people is going down to about 14 or 15, and now they're at 125, and they're looking for additional people to work. And I want to thank their president, Andrew Seville, who I think maybe is here. Andrew, are you here someplace? Where are you, Andrew? Wow. You want to say something? Come on up here. He really understood what was happening, and I think it would be nice. You weren't supposed to speak, so I hope you're not nervous. Come here.
No, you make it easy.
Thank you very much.
The most thing that took us right to the top was your tariffs. I think everybody in here that runs a small business, the tariffs had an effect on you one way or another, and that has just taken us, all the jobs that were going to China, you brought them back, and it really took us to the next level. And we were honored to have you come down to our company. So thank you for having me back here. I wasn't prepared to speak, so I'm going to get off the stage. Thank you, Mr. President.
You do better when you don't know your stuff. No, you know what? It's a little truth to that, Rick. Sometimes you don't think you can introduce somebody. You know they're in the audience, but they don't know, and they end up doing better because they speak from the heart. They have no choice. They can't think about all night long, what am I going to say? And then you get up and you bore the place. No, it's very good. You speak from the heart. And that's true. Tariffs were a very big part. We had an unfortunate ruling out of the Supreme Court. But the good news is I'm able to do it a different way. They said use the other way. There was no reason for that. It was terrible, actually terrible. But it'll have no impact other than I hate to pay people back tariffs, $159 billion. I have to pay them back when a little half sentence, any money taken in to this point does not have to be paid back. We would have saved $159 billion, and I cannot figure it out. How could anybody do that? But they did it. We have other ways of tariffing. As you know, we're already doing it. And actually, they're more tested, they're stronger, a little bit more complex. I like to keep it as simple as possible. And in many ways, they'll be better. It'll be better. I just want you not to think that because of that decision, the tariffs will actually be higher. It's turning out they're going to end up being higher. But it's made our country rich, really rich. And it's like Andrew said, I mean, without them, there would be nothing we could do to save your country, nothing. It's the greatest word. Remember, I used to say it's my favorite word in the dictionary, the word tariff. And then the fake news got on me. They said, well, what about God? What about your wife? What about your family? What about... So they were just killing me because I said it's my favorite word. I said, all right, it's my fifth favorite word. So it's my fifth favorite word. But because of tariffs and, the proper use of tariffs, you have to use them in a certain way. But, we've been ripped off in this. I've been talking about it for years. We've been ripped off in this country for decades. We lost our car industry. Think of it. There's a person here making utensils, beautiful forks and knives and things. Where is that person? Who's around here? So, and he was telling me, he said, China's coming in and they're ripping us. And we have a tariff. It's 25%, but it's not enough because, they have certain advantages that you're not going to have. But the advantage you have is you have a higher quality product. And I'm going to be able to take care of that very easily, just by putting it up. You'll be treated fairly. It's just really tough. And it's amazing you've done as well as you've done. But you did that because of the quality of your product. We have such quality. North Carolina, if you take a look, I'm going to put tremendous tariffs on. That process has already started. It takes me longer now because of the Supreme Court decision. I have to go through a process. It's ridiculous. But we don't like it. We like to do what's right and get it done instead of having to do a report which is going to come out and say the exact same thing that everyone knows. But you can tell the people in North Carolina that, we used to have a great furniture business. I built a lot of hotels and a lot of different buildings where I need furniture. I would go to North Carolina. These were great artists. And China essentially put them out of business because we didn't have a president that was willing to do it. Happened before my term. They've been out of business for a long. I used to go down there and see these people. They were artists with wood. I'd say I'd like to make the handle a little bit slimmer. Ding, 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 ding. It was like magic, and we lost that whole thing. You can see it's coming back because we're putting tariffs on furniture where you'll be able to more than compete. We have to protect our businesses. Same thing with you in the utensil business. Your stuff is so beautiful, but it's very tough when you're competing against something that is cheap and, because of the lack of protection that you've been given, it just puts you out of business. So you actually said thank you for the tariffs, but the tariffs really aren't high enough, in my opinion, in that particular thing. But with the furniture, we're going to bring all the furniture back to North Carolina, and you're going to see it'll be as robust as it was 25, 30 years ago. The greatest furniture people in the world, and they got stolen. They really didn't take them. They found people in China that could do it, and all those people got put out of jobs, and their kids have that same ability. And you watch what happens, how good it is in North Carolina, because I've had to go through a process to get that approved, but now it's approved, and you're going to be, again, the furniture capital of the world because nobody can do that quality. And I know the quality. I buy a lot of things from China, and because I was forced to. When I was in the hotel business, I was forced to buy from China because of pricing and because of for other reasons. What I wasn't getting was the kind of quality that we were getting here. And now you'll have a combination of both. So you can let that be known. I don't know if that's breaking news or not for these people, but to me, it's very important. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and now we have it pretty well ready. So, and we love North Carolina. My administration's also committed to ensuring that American small businesses have access to the credit and capital that they need under Administrator Loeffler, who's phenomenal. She is phenomenal. And she's got a great husband, Jeff, and he's a friend of mine, and he's a very successful man, and he's a great man, and he's got a great wife, and I was so happy getting her in this position. She replaced a woman who is a very legendary woman, Linda McMahon, who's now in education. She's doing a great job. She's moving education back to the States where it belongs, and Kelly is doing great. But last year, Kelly, our Small Business Administration issued $7 billion in loans to 11,000 new startups, as well as $1.3 billion in loans to 3,000 veteran-owned small businesses, and $3.2 billion. They're a big business, you know. That's why I say, how can we call it small business? $3.2 billion to American manufacturers, helping restore those beautiful words, made in the USA. Well, we're using them more and more. We have things being made here that nobody thought it was even possible for it to come back. Like you'll see in North Carolina with the furniture. It'll come back very, very rapidly. So, Kelly, I'd like to ask you to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, you are the most pro-growth, pro-small business president in American history. Thank you. It's such an honor to join you here at the White House to recognize National Small Business Week, and you're the greatest commander-in-chief ever, but also one of America's greatest businessmen, and small businesses know that. They see that this administration is shifting power and capital from fraudsters and Washington bureaucrats back to Main Street job creators, just like we have gathered in this room today. Fair trade, deregulation, and the working family tax cuts in the One Big Beautiful Bill. They are powering real opportunity that I see all over as I travel this country, especially after 4 crushing years of Bidenomics and decades of shipping our jobs and our industries overseas, hollowing out our local communities. That is ending. As I travel the country each week, and Mr. President, I've traveled with you from Iowa's Machine Shed restaurant to Georgia's Coosa Steel factory. America First policies are restoring the American dream on Main Street to new heights. At generational businesses like Jimmy's Famous Seafood, at industrial innovators like Prince Manufacturing in Georgia and Blue Patriot in Nebraska, who are building big, beautiful new buildings thanks to the working family tax cuts. Today, 98% of U.S. manufacturers are small businesses. They're a critical part of securing our supply chains, and while they contribute to national strength across all kinds of industries, from energy to agriculture to defense and aerospace, America's big manufacturers rely on these producers and their skilled workers. And that's why President Trump's economic agenda means Made in America is coming back, and it's coming back fast. Now, at the Trump SBA, we're helping to fuel that growth as the most free enterprise agency in the federal government. In 2025 alone, we guaranteed a record $45 billion in lending to 85,000 small businesses through local banks. That's an all-time record at the SBA, and we did it with 53% fewer staff at the agency. That capital is driving the job creation that you see. Record small business formation. This year, record small business formation and growth in communities all across America. It's such an honor to highlight the award winners that are here today and the vital role of hardworking small businesses that do their jobs every single day. They are America's backbone. from our farms and restaurants to our construction companies and our manufacturers and our trucking companies. Thank you, Mr. President, for recognizing that small business is big business. 250 years ago, our founding fathers were also entrepreneurs, small businessmen. With the America First agenda, that legacy continues. America is open for business again. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
That's a great job. I just want to sort of end by, I'll give you a little common sense business. So a lot of you run your business for a couple of reasons: talent, brilliance in many cases, but also common sense. And I'll give you just one little anecdote. We have a beautiful, potentially beautiful, built in 1922, it's a long time ago, reflecting pond in between the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. It's 2,500 feet long. That's taller than, I think, any building in the world. That would be if you lay it sideways. It's 2 Empire State Buildings, more than that. And very wide, 167 feet. And for years they've wanted to fix it, rebuild it. It's granite. The stone is good, granite's great, but it was leaking because it's little pieces of granite. Very, very expensive when they did it, but it always leaked from the day they built it. In 1922, and it leaked badly, and they've looked at fixing it for decades, really fixing it, and it wasn't working. It was too expensive, and the final price we got fairly recently was to fix it as $350 million because they were going to take the granite out and they were going to replace it with new granite, new stone, tighter joints, all that. It was going to take 3.5 years, and I heard about it, and I called Doug Burgum, and I said, Doug, what do you think? I built a lot of swimming pools, hundreds of swimming pools in different jobs. I said, let me look at that surface. So it's granite, so granite is virtually indestructible, but it was filthy dirty. It started because I called, because it was so dirty, it was disgusting. People call me and they'd say, it's a shame. I'm looking at the Washington Monument and this thing is terrible. The water is dirty. There's cartons of stuff in it and everything is just so horrible. And I said, wow, that's terrible. We can't have that. I actually had Secret Service. I said, drive over there. I want to see it. Sir, we won't be able to. I said, just do it. And when it was terrible, I looked at it, terrible. So think of that. So it's going to cost $350 million because they're going to take the granite out, put new granite, and consider it like as tall as the tallest building in the world, if not taller, and laying on its side. And I said, wow, that's terrible. $350 million. It's going to take 3.5 years. 3.5 years it'll be at, and 3.5 years means 5 years. $350 million means $500 million to fix a thing. And I said, I built all these swimming pools, and they're phenomenal. They're 20 years. I have one up the road where it's a great club on the Potomac River, and I bought it, I bet 21 years ago, and I built a beautiful Olympic-sized pool. And I asked the other day, I said, how good is the pool? Oh, it's beautiful, sir. I looked at it, looks like it's brand new, it was done 20 years ago. So I have some very good contractors, some good, one or two in particular. And I sent the three best. I said, do me a favor, fellas. Go take a look at the reflecting pool that sits in between Lincoln and Washington, the beautiful, what should be beautiful reflecting pool. And one of them who came back, who's really, I would say, the best, but they're all good. He came back, he said, what an exciting job, sir. I said, so how long would it take you to redo it? He said, well, we have to fix the surface a little bit, create something good and solid underneath. That'll take about a week. And let's say it'll take me to put the new material. Now, the swimming pool is good, but he said, sir, I'd get commercial grade. What is that? He said, that's much stronger, much heavier, meant for commercial. It actually looks better. It's more expensive, sir. I said, that's okay. I said, how much will it cost? I think we can do it for about $1.9 million. So he said, what color would you like, sir? And I said, well, you know that beautiful color that we have in Florida? He said, this is in Florida, sir. We don't have that green blue around here. We have blue water. But he gave me a choice of 50 colors. Now I'm going crazy. I'm saying, now think of it. If we put the granite, you know what your color is? It was gray. It was gray. Not a good looking color. So even if you did it, it's not good. So I said, we'll do a beautiful job. I think that I'd like to recommend a color that I've used before. It's beautiful. What's it called? It's called American Flag Blue. I said, that's the color I want. Because how can you have it better, right? I said, how can you have a better color than American flag? We had a gray, disgusting, dirty. It showed all the dirt. It showed all the everything. So we finished it about 2-3 days ago. They ripped the hell, they roughened this surface. They left everything there. The demolition would have cost $60 million to take the stone out and put new stone in. So we cleaned it, we steam cleaned it, we sandblasted it, we pebble blasted. You know what pebble blasting, that's a serious sandblast. That's really, because it's granite, it's so strong. We roughened the stone so it's a good surface, got it immaculate, and it's beautiful. But it still has the lines in between it. You're going to have leaks all over the place. And we filled in some areas, and the work started a few days ago. And I wanted to go today. I said, let me see these small business people. And then I want to go over and see the contractors to see how they're doing. But Secret Service was not thrilled. They were not thrilled at me standing in the middle of a pool with lots of buildings looking down. We have to be a little conscious of that, right? Chris, you'll have a new boss someday. And I don't know if you'd like that. So here's the story, just in a nutshell. For a much better job, 1.9 million, 1 week. Because I don't call actually the Parks Department did a great job. They cleaned, they had a lot of men cleaning, they're scrubbing the scum off years and years of decay and bacteria and everything else you can think. It was terrible, actually. It was worse than the people would tell me. They say how bad it looked. It was much worse. The Parks Department did a fantastic job. They got it down to the surface, and these guys came in and made the surface really, really good. And now the fun starts, and they're putting it down. So, ready? 1.9 million versus $350 million. All right? Common sense. Common sense. A great, beautiful blue color, American flag blue, as opposed to gray. Right? Water's not gray, but it's one of those things. And instead of 3.5 years, it's 1 week. So think of that. 1 week. So everybody say, well, yeah, but you can't compare this. Yeah, you can't. It's much better. It's a much better job. This will last for at least 50 years, and you'll never have a leak. It's very strong. You couldn't, if you had a knife, I don't want to give anybody ideas. If you had a knife, you can't even cut it. So strong, so powerful. It's like powerful rubber. It is beautiful, sealed. And I looked at just one of the little pieces that they did to finish. It's like a piece of glass. Beautiful color, beautiful everything. You could never get anything like that. And just think of it. So for a tiny fraction of the cost and a tiny fraction of the time, we end up with the most beautiful thing that you'll ever see. And I look so forward to that opening up. And it's sort of a business thing. It's a common sense thing. First thing I thought of when I heard $350 million, because I'm the one that said, let's get it done. But they had done studies for years because they wanted to get it done. Never got done. Probably so expensive they couldn't afford to do it, really. But there's a thing, common sense, right? Swimming pool. I said, well, swimming pool looks so beautiful. Wouldn't that be nice? So for a tiny fraction of the time, a tiny fraction of the cost, we end up with a much better product. And this is what you people do with small businesses all the time. It's what Kelly does in running this. She comes to me a lot of times with ideas for less money. It's a better job. So I thought I'd tell you that because this just happened. This just happened. If you go down, if you'd like to see them doing it, on your way back home, take a trip down to the reflecting pond, or they call it the reflecting pool. Some people call it the reflecting lake, but the word reflecting is always a part of it. They call it different things, but reflecting is always a part. last but not least, we have someone who is helping us lead the revival in American manufacturing, this year's National Small Business Person of the Year. I want to hire him. How big is this business? I want to get him. Mark LaMancha, and he's a fantastic guy, and he's the owner of Hometown Products, a metal casting and 3D printing company near Youngstown, Ohio. I hear it's amazing what he's done. In 2008, the company was nearing bankruptcy. It looked like it couldn't be saved, but that's when Mark patented a system to boost productivity at the company by more than 400%. Mark would like to use you in government. How would you? If you could use that system in government, that would be very nice. He transformed Hometown into a pioneer in 3D printing, and he's leading everybody. Then today, they're North America's leading producer of 3D printed sand cores and molds, which is a big business. And Mark, we're here to honor you today, and if you could come up, we're going to give you a little something. Come on up. Hey, Mark. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's beautiful. I want to get one of them for myself. I'll honor myself. That's very nice. Would you like to say a few words? Go ahead, I'll hold it for you.
Mr. President and Administrator Loeffler, I would like to thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to represent the 36 million small business people, to be an ambassador for the largest part of our economy. And I would like to thank you from the Hometown Products Industrial Athletes team that I have the privilege of serving every day as their head coach. But even more, I would like to thank you, Mr. President, for restarting and rebooting our economy. And manufacturing used to be 38% of our economy, and it's down to 9%. And I know that you love America, and I know that you want to restart that. You know, in the last 3 months, the PMI index has gone up 3 months in a row because of that restart. We have 10% increase in hiring, and we'll be able to buy more of those $1 million printers that we're able to print the fight, fight, fight Trump statue that was in Butler with Corey. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for loving America. And, you know, manufacturing is my favorite sport, so let's make America manufacture again.
That's good. That's a great job, and I heard it's a great company. You've done a fantastic job with it. Thank you very much. And you're right. We lost our manufacturing business, and I used to listen to President Obama say, "You'll never get manufacturing back. It's the biggest business in the world if you get it back." And we're heading to that. I think we'll be higher than at any time, fairly soon, when these places open. I think we'll be higher than at any time in the history of our country. And we used to be a manufacturing capital. We were the manufacturing capital of the world, and then it got taken away. The chips went to Taiwan, and all they had to do is say, if you sell your product back into the country, there's going to be 100% tariff, and nobody would have left. And, you know, I made a investment, Intel, chip maker, the biggest in the world, and then it got taken away because of bad politics, actually, because the politicians, the presidents, no president protected that industry. So all of a sudden you have this superpower over in Taiwan. But they're coming back, as you know. We have the biggest companies they're pouring into this country. They know that the tariffs go to a certain extent, and then they go up, up, up as we go. But I will say that it's so sad to see what's happened, but it makes me so happy to say we're bringing it back. And as sure as you're sitting there, I mean, these are companies that are fully committed. There are many under construction. They're on their way. And when I look at what happened to our country, I used to make speeches as a private person. I always loved politics, but I never thought I'd be doing this. But as a private person doing well, I used to just marvel at the fact that the car companies were leaving Detroit and leaving our country at levels that were just, I mean, I say, you're not going to have any cars soon if you don't do something. And all they had to do is say, you can leave our country, you can have lots of fun building your cars, but if you think you're going to sell it back into our country for no cost, you're wrong. But nobody said that. Not one president, even presidents I liked, but they were bad on trade. You've never had a good president on trade, and now you do, and we're bringing them back at levels never seen before. So we're going to have something. And as far as small business is concerned, you are really the driver. I love that story because that's the kind of story that half of the people, I'm not sure about all of them, I'm not sure about Rick, but most of the people in this room would have thought of that. They would have said, well, what about surfacing that stone, that existing stone? But it's just, one example. It's such a great one because it's massive amounts of money and time and a disaster of construction for years. They'll be building and building and building, a mess. What common sense is all about. And you people more than anything, I know you all indirectly. If I don't know you, I still know you. But the fact is, it's common sense. And if you didn't have common sense, you would not have a good business, and you wouldn't have a good small business, big business, or any other business. So I just want to congratulate Mark. I want to congratulate. It's a great tribute, really. You've done an amazing job. But I want to congratulate everybody in the room. You're fantastic people. And we are really, this is the golden age of America. I really believe it. Last year, we were scoffed at. I tell the story often that the king of Saudi Arabia, a year and a half ago when I was over there, he said, America was a dead country. We didn't think it would be investing. We didn't think it would be appropriate to invest there. We were a dead country. And now, President, you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. That was 7 or 8 months ago. We're a lot hotter than we were then. We had to do this little excursion, but the excursion is the stock market's higher now than it was when I assumed the market would be down 25%, and that was worth it to get rid of lunatics that would have nuclear weapons that can wipe out countries with the push of a button. You can't do that. So I had to do it because it should have been done 47 years. It should have been done by many presidents or other countries. Should have been done a long time ago, but we're doing it, and we have no choice, and I'm very proud to be doing it. But the amazing thing, I thought would be down 20, 25%. I thought the market would be down. The market's at new highs, despite all of it. And so the market is genius, and they see what's happening, and they get it. But I just want to say it's an honor to be with you, and keep going. Small businesses, some of your small businesses like yours are going to be large businesses very soon. And it's an honor to be with you, and Kelly and Chris and all of the people that work with me. What a great job you do. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to our great POTUS. If you haven't done so yet, don't forget to hit that like button. I appreciate it. And if you have subscribed, I am looking to see if I can get 19.2 thousand subscribers tonight. Let's see if we can get, oh, never mind. We are past that mark. So thank you so much, guys, for subscribing. I appreciate it. I hope you subscribe because you like the content. I hope that you subscribe because you like our conversations. One of the things I want you to understand something here. I don't debate people just because they ask me to debate. I don't want to have conversations with people that want to just troll. What's a troll to me? A troll to me is somebody that comes in here talking shit about President Trump right off the bat, talking bad about us right off the bat, insulting us right off the bat, with no substance, with no actual conversation topic or anything. They don't stay on topic. If we are talking about economy, they don't want to talk about economy. They always say Epstein files, etc. We don't play that game. So I want you to know that. Consider becoming members, and then we can have just member-only content. There's going to be some great things coming up in the future, and I will be able to sell it more once I get the things that I need to be able to do this. I got to do some price checks for this and that, but nonetheless, it's going to get really juicy. Here we go. Let's take a look. Yeah, you got to earn my trust first. Here is our regular troll. Here's the troll. This is what I want you to understand. You got to get to know the trolls. Here's a troll. A troll. Gas prices. Gas prices are high. Okay? Like right now, blah, blah, bro. Thanks for stopping by. You know, this kind of people, they don't want to have conversations. This kind of people, they don't care about our country. I want you to know that. We are more about common sense. And these people that come in here and troll, they just don't have common sense. It's very unfortunate because I really wish that I can have a fantastic conversation with them, but their brain is just too small and fried. They didn't get to the giving of the brains. They showed up too late, as always, and they didn't get a good brain. Larson, how are you, my friend? Good to see you on here. Here's a couple of things, and when people come in here like this blah blah guy, let me tell you this, okay? If you are new to my channel, I want to say thank you. Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. If you are an American patriot, we want you here. If you believe on protecting, defending, and all the good stuff for America, I want you here. If you believe on supporting our troops, no matter what, you belong here. If you like to cry and whine and bitch and complain, you hate our military, you hate the United States, you hate the president, you hate us, you're in the wrong channel. Go find a different channel. I want you to give me something that will, turn on a conversation. Instead of just talking nonsense. You need to stop listening to the people who believe that putting America down is the best thing to do. Those who burn the American flag, this is the wrong chat. If you think the Constitution was written so that you can burn the American flag, you are an idiot. You are a moron, and everything that I can think of that can be an insult to you. Not once, let me tell you something. Not once would I ever believe, oh my God, what's the word in English? Defecating? No. The action of burning the American flag. I will never ever, there's a word for it. If somebody can help me, you can put that on the chat. I will never ever believe that burning the American flag. Listen, I don't care if you burn anybody else's flags, but don't burn the American flag if you're an American. Okay? I don't believe that the Constitution was telling you, if you don't like what the government is dishonoring, if you don't like what the government is doing to you, burn the American flag. Desecrating. Thank you. That's the word. Okay, it was right. Okay, desecrating. Not ever. Because I know that real American warriors, soldiers, real American soldiers who really love and honor and respect this nation, this great country. They honor and respect our sacred symbols who represent the greatness of this country, that represent the hope of the United States of America, who represent the light beacon at the top of a very, very dark and very foggy mountain. To burn the American flag is to spit on the face of all of our warriors and heroes. Is to spit on the very thing that makes you an American citizen. So I don't put up with that shit. If you like burning American flags, you're in the wrong channel. You should be in the wrong country. When I hear, and maybe they're not even Americans, maybe they're Canadians. But when I hear Americans say, yeah, the flag desecration is a freedom of speech, I'm telling you, I have seen so-called veterans. I don't believe it. Maybe stolen valor. I have seen so-called veterans burning the American flag. They must be out their damn mind. They must be out of their mind. Because I don't know of any veteran that believes burning the American flag is okay. I have seen and heard stories of Americans dying to go lift the American flag. They give their lives to maintain that flag erect. You understand? They give their life. That flag represents you morons that believe in burning it. That flag represents every single one of us in this country and our generations before. If a soldier takes a bullet for the American flag, what are you pieces of shit out there doing burning the flag? Who are you to desecrate our beautiful flag? It is a sacred symbol that belongs to the American people. I can't believe that exists. I can't believe that Americans will do that. I will never, ever burn the Honduran flag. It doesn't matter how much I hate the government. It doesn't matter how bad the president is. I will never burn that flag. That was the country where I was born. And that is also a sacred symbol. It also represents the good people of Honduras. I am so thankful that I have so many veterans on my channel. Just like you saw that room of all those folks, small, medium, and large business owners right there, giving thanks to our great POTUS, giving honor to the man who is spit on by socialist lunatic Democrats, whose life has been attempted on 3 times by the same socialist, leftist, lunatic Democrats. And what have they done to make our country better? They have put permanent taxes. One of their policies, it says they love progressive taxes. They like to increase taxes every 6 months, every year, every midterm, every time they get a chance. Thank you, Coyote. Every chance they get to steal money from you. Tom Loins, who is the fool? The dumbass that supports the policies that steal from the American people? Or the guy who is fighting against it? Telling the truth about being Americans, respecting and honoring the United States of America, its flag and all of its sacred symbols. There is no real veterans on my chat that will ever burn the American flag. We might hate it. We might dislike it. And we don't understand the government. But that beautiful flag right here, unless we are going to replace it with a new one, you can dispose of it. And I believe burning it in public is a form of protest, as a form of your religion, of your freedom of speech. That's not the way. Brainwasher. Okay, sure. Thanks for stopping by. Listen, if you hate me, defending the honor of the United States of America and respecting its sacred symbols, why are you here? Why are you even in the United States of America? You don't even have to tell me. You are privileged scum. And a lot of you illegal migrants that come here, you don't come here because you love the United States of America. Illegal immigrants like Mario Aguilar, you guys are the scum in this country. And we will get rid of you. We will deport every single one of you scum. You know what Hispanics I want here? The Hispanic, I don't care if they're illegal. The Hispanics that say, God bless the USA. The Hispanics that raise the American, even though they're illegal, that raise the American flag with pride. It gives me hope that they are good people. All of you garbage people that burn the American flag can get the hell out of the United States of America. Anybody that loves this country, that puts American citizens first before illegals, you should be in this country. If you don't have a criminal background from a foreign country or here, you should really be in this country. I believe there's a lot of good people out there. But because of the bad message that we give the world by accepting illegal immigration, more and more and more people will continue to pour into this country. You don't even know what the hell the Gestapo is. See, this is how retarded people are on the left. This is what I call liptards. You guys are so retarded. Wait, you want to see my white privilege card? Wait a minute. Wait. What is this? Bam! My white privilege card right here. American citizen. Don't hate. Just because your back is a little bit wet still from the swimming. Don't hate. I'm a beaner. I'm a happy beaner. I'm a beaner with a white privilege card. And I love the great USA. Man, God bless the USA. God bless the USA and all of its people. All right. I'm going to give some of the people on the left a little bit of what they love. You guys ready? Hey, MAGA, get some tough skin. Here we go.
How popular is this war with Iran? President Trump says that the war with Iran could take days at first if he wanted to, but then he said it would be weeks. And now he says that now that it's carried into its third month, despite higher gas prices at home and plummeting polls at home as well, Pete Hegseth is saying that America is right behind the president.
When I talk to Americans, and especially when I talk to the troops, they are grateful for a president who has the courage to take on this threat after 47 years of what Iran has done, targeting and killing Americans.
What I'm concerned about is we are not safer, and I would just like to know why you have not sought the support of the American people, and 3 out of 5 Americans are against this war today.
I believe we do have the support of the American people, and we have briefed regularly what this mission looks like and why it's critically important that we undertake it.
You don't care whether
When the
American people support this war.
The American people are quite smart. They understand and see through spin. They know that a regime that says death to America, that seeks nuclear weapons and the ability to deliver. Did they lie about the range of their missiles?
Yeah, Pete Hegseth wasn't acting macho.
Yeah, they did lie about the range of their missiles. And they also brag about having enough enriched uranium to make 11 nukes. They bragged about it. Now, all the people that you're watching on from the Iranian regime, those are all AI. The guy is like this stiff with no emotion and just talking like this. I can make those videos as well.
is playing a macho person on TV. He is not actually macho. We are dealing with a war.
How does this guy who is not a macho, who is not, none of these two guys right here, they're not real men. How do they know what a real man is? This guy talking about macho guy like he's Mexican. He don't even know what the hell that means. I don't think he knows what a macho guy is. Macho man.
That is failing on a daily basis as Donald Trump has taken his to.
Machismo.
Because he was performing. It was a performance for
He's
Donald
the expert.
Trump.
Didn't you know?
It was a performance for Donald Trump.
You're out there
I
pumping
mean,
up.
Donald Trump is very impressive. He's taken his two largest campaign promises, no new wars and lower prices, ending inflation, and he's messed both of them up. He started a new war that spiked inflation.
It's an old war, 47-year-old war. This little ignorant nincompoop on CNN, I can't believe he's there. Well, never mind. He is against President Trump, so he deserves to be there, I guess. That's the way it works for qualifications. This guy is such an ignorant fool. He believes everything the Democrats say. I've been listening to this guy for a while, and he got a little bit of a little push from CNN and all this leftist, socialist, libtards media. And all of a sudden, this guy is he is a genius. He is a genius. Please, he didn't even know that the Iranian war is 47 years old. That's how stupid he is.
And now this war is actively failing. An interesting statistic is that
Failing. This war is actively failing. Well, I tell you what, if our Air Force and our Navy fleet was destroyed, I will say we are losing. It doesn't matter if you and I have a speedboat and we go fishing and start shooting some oil tankers, we would be defeated. Yeah, we would be defeated. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. We're losing this war. Please, listen, 2 months into this, 2 months, and they're over here crying a river. Listen, we're going to hit our 90 days. And if we still need to, we're going to go ahead and reapprove it. We're going to restart. We're going to call a full ceasefire. But we're just going to let the boys have some more ribeyes. Oh, my gosh, I'm so hungry now. Some more ribeyes and lobsters. And then after they get a couple of days to digest this fantastic, wonderful food that they so much deserve, we're going to go ahead and do it again for another 90 days. How about that?
Americans have spent collectively $23 billion extra dollars on the gas pump. And that's money that could have gone towards daycare, towards childcare. We'll sit here and you'll laugh. And
That's money that could have gone to Somalia. $23 billion. Why does that number sound so familiar? Oh, that's right, because it's no longer $12 billion in fraud in Somalian neighborhoods, Minnesota. Now it's $23 billion. This guy, oh man, why is he on a big news network? Look, even oh man, even the big Mexican right next to him doesn't even like what he's hearing. Come on, Mr. Rivera. Please stop the madness.
Americans spending money, but the reality is we are failing this war. The purpose of a war is to extract political concessions from the enemy. Can you name a single political concession we've gotten from them? Anything at all?
Or are you talking to
Any political concession? Because you can't name one.
So here's what we're doing.
because you can't name one. Scott Jennings, you're a fool. You're an idiot. You have no experience. You have no idea about politics. You don't know how anything works in this world. You have no idea. You don't have anything. Don't tell me anything. Well, I like what he's going to say to him right now.
No political concessions.
When you get up past your bedtime, you get hyper. Here's the deal.
Yeah, it's past his bedtime, so the guy is too hyper. That's the problem.
We
All right,
we
Scott, let's not-
have a clear
let's not
issue
get
here.
You're shaking, bro.
We
You
have a
can't shake.
clear issue here. No nuclear weapons for the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. Period. Full stop. The president believes, and he may be right. I spoke to a retired Rear Admiral today, Mark Montgomery, who's at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. They think the blockade is actually more effective than the military campaign. And a little patience on the blockade here, where we cripple the Iranian economy, where we kill their currency, which is happening as we speak, where we put pressure on China because they need to get their oil flowing again. A little bit of patience right here, not bombs, but patience on a naval blockade, could get the outcome you want, which is no nuclear weapons for the largest state sponsor of terror in.
I guarantee you, listen to me. Now, you learned this in school. Most people don't. But I guarantee you, this guy, he heard everything, but he didn't listen. He heard everything Scott Jennings is saying, but he's not listening. That is exactly the people that come into my chat acting like fools. Jacob, I will not make a trip to go kiss the wall. I love the Jews. I love Israel. I will never go kiss that wall. I'm not a superstitious guy. I'm not an idolater. I only believe that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and life. The only truth and the only way. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and he is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And Jews can kiss the wall, and that's fine with me. That is their right. That is their freedom. Let them. Let them. What's the problem with that? I got no problem with that. President Trump goes kiss the wall. What's wrong with it? Who the hell are you to judge him for that? As if you were some sort of saint. As if you were perfect. If you were over there, Jesus Christ himself, to judge him for that. Who are you? Shut the hell up and get out of my chat.
Been saying this for 8 weeks, and we are now past the 4 to 6 week deadline. Where is the enriched uranium right now?
It's under rubble.
Where is it right now? In the United States or Iran? Iran still has the enriched uranium. They still have the scientists scattered across their country, and they have all of the blueprints in the cloud. You can sit there and act confused, but you can't name a single political concession that we've gotten from Iran.
It's not over yet.
Okay, but
My name is Dennis Herrera, and you're watching the Dennis Herrera Show. That's who I am. Thank you for stopping by.
Also on that fact, why are we talking about the strategy of this? This isn't a legal war.
Well, here we go. Here's a nice seasoned strategist. Here we go, guys. We are going to learn some strategy from a libtard. Let's take a listen.
This is terrorism. We are turning our military into pirates. We are seizing civilian vessels. Additionally,
sanctioned Iranian vessels that have gone through a DOJ process.
We are.
You can call piracy in if words don't have any meaning, but like we have sanctions against these vessels, and the EU has sanctions against these vessels. In some cases, the UN has sanctions.
But one of the most egregious aspects of this is the white Christian nationalist twist that Pete Hegseth has added onto this topic.
Whoa, white nationalist twist. Well, where have I heard that before? Where have I heard that before? Socialist white woman, Karen, on CNN. Say that again.
In some cases, the UN has sanctions.
But one of the most egregious aspects of this is the white Christian nationalist twist that Pete Hegseth has added onto this topic, saying that this conflict that we started, that we have sacrificed our own service members for, is ordained by God,
We started this, and I'm telling you, these guys are too damn young. They don't really know that Iran has been warring us for 47 years. Why don't they understand this shit? It's so easy.
bombing a school full of schoolgirls ordained by God? Is our prices going up and us not being able to afford an ambulance, we call an Uber instead? Is that ordained by God?
In 1983, I was in Beirut when the Marine Corps barracks was blown up by a suicide bomber sponsored by the Iranians.
It's not 1983,
230 Marines died.
That's awful. That's terrible. But that is not. It's
they
not
also
1983.
took out a couple of dozen at the U.S. Embassy.
Geraldo, we
downtown
murdered an
Beirut.
entire school of children.
You can't make
two of them.
You can't make them, suddenly a victim.
Okay, the real question is, what have we got?
I actually think the school children are victims. I think the civilians that are dead are
so
victims.
Are the
Yeah,
Marines.
I do. But hold on. I do think, look, just to be clear, I mean, obviously, Marines being killed is terrible. School children being killed is terrible. But there's a big difference between Iran willfully bombing, U.S. military targets and the United States bombing a school and then not acknowledging it, which is
Have a good night, man. Take it easy, brother. Thanks for sticking with us for a little bit.
its own separate problem. But the school children are civilians. They're civilians point blank. They should never be targeted. We are, according to some people, already at the 60-day mark of this war. And technically, they're supposed to come to Congress on it. Pete Hegseth was questioned about this today. Listen to this.
The War Powers Resolution specifies that a war initiated by a president without congressional approval must be concluded within 60 days.
Ultimately, I would defer to the White House and White House counsel on that. However, we are in a ceasefire right now, which our understanding means the 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire.
Oh, man. And we've got a ceasefire a couple of times in there, so we still got a couple of weeks. Remember when Trump said, we have a ceasefire for 7 days? Well, that gives us another 7 days. What the hell? And then we say, okay, we have another ceasefire for another 6 days. Well, that gives us 2 more weeks. And well, if Congress wants to play stupid, like as if they don't know what the hell is going on in the Middle East with Iran, what do these morons think they are doing in office? Never mind, don't answer that. We already know the answer. These guys are incompetent.
You're not in. Yeah. It's our understanding, just so you know.
Okay, well, I do not believe the statute would support that.
I mean, that was essentially how the Obama administration interpreted the statute.
And Republicans disagreed with it at the time.
100%. I think it would be cleaner.
So just to be clear,
It'd be a good act of constitutional hygiene, and it's not you need to conclude within 60 days. You need to conclude or have authorization from Congress within 60 days.
Exactly. So
now,
they could come to Congress and get authorization. Why not?
Or they could challenge the statute, which, as somebody who has either sponsored legislation to repeal or reform every extant authorization for the use of military force and to reform war powers more broadly, I also have to confess the War Powers Act of 1974, the constitutional underpinnings of that are shaky. It may not hold up.
Maybe so, but it's the law of the land, and it has not been.
Congress has the power of the purse, and this is the reality: is that if Congress continues to authorize the Department of War, if they continue to pass the National Defense Appropriations Act, they continue to do that. That will
They're not going to shoot down the Defense Act on the basis of a war that Donald Trump is starting. Why would you shoot down all of our defense?
The National Defense Act. The National Defense Act comes up once a year. I think it's probably this year. It's usually toward the end of the year.
They also are requesting a supplemental before.
Right, they're requesting a supplemental, but they haven't actually done that fully yet. And I do think it raises the question, do they just get to pause this thing whenever they feel like it, even though there is an active blockade? And a blockade involves the U.S. military threatening with force that if any
an act of war.
Yeah, it is considered an act of war. So how does that not count?
I think that interpretation, however, is subject to reasonable acceptance interpretation. If indeed there is a ceasefire, don't you want to encourage the ceasefire? Don't you want to encourage this peace?
Yeah, but there's also a naval blockade, which is by definition not a ceasefire.
But also,
still in war.
we're talking legalities when it comes to war powers and all this. This is bird law, right? It is not governed by reason. You know, you can't get. No, it's always something.
What do you mean?
Fans here. Come on,
Can I just take it back?
Wait. What do you mean by bird law?
I mean that when we try to apply like normal rhetoric, normal logic, normal dictionary definitions,
as we do in a democracy. Like we're not Iran. We don't get to just ignore the law.
We're also ignoring the international legal repercussions
right?
here.
If we're talking about that, what international legal repercussions?
This is a war of aggression.
What is international law? Who's enforcing international law?
Who is the aggressor here?
Us. We are the aggressor.
Against
we launched
Iran?
this war. Yes.
Okay.
Just because Iran exists.
Did all of U.S. history exist before the last 8 weeks to you, or just 8 weeks?
It started on February 28th.
Listen, we all know.
I mean, honestly, they have been at war with us for 40.
I'm telling you, they don't know jack shit about the history that we have with this regime in Iran. She's clueless. How old is she? Like 13 years old? She's clueless. And this guy who hasn't hit puberty yet has no clue either. See, they go on headlines and they just believe everything they hear. I wish they would question it. I bet you they never question it. They just hear the headlines. Oh, my gosh, I knew it. That's how it is. Blah, blah, blah. No, you got to question, man. You got to research. You can't just get a script from CNN, bro. You can't just listen to your Democratic colleagues to tell you what to say. You got to go make up your own mind. Even Gerardo over here is pushing back a little bit. Maybe he's just playing the game. But even he's pushing it because he doesn't want to make himself look like an ass. Again, he's done that plenty of times. So if he agrees with his two little young kids who don't know shit, as my grandma used to say, haven't even learned how to wipe their own ass yet, he's not going to take their side. He's being smart about it. But Scott Jennings, he's over here probably shaking because he wants to just tear this guy's face apart. I get it. But he's showing some constraint. I got to give him credit for that. Listen, that school hit, whether it was us or not, it was a mistake if it was us. That's all there's to it. We do not hit schools. If there was bad intel given, hey, my bad. We'll take the heat. But that's how it is. Where the United States of America is being as careful as possible. What do they think is going to happen? I'm going to tell you something. We got to kill the filibuster. We got to kill that. We got to kill that shit. It's got to be killed. The filibuster has got to be gone. And then let's give Trump access to this war. Full access to this war. And then you're going to see a deal from the Iranian regime because they're going to shit their pants. When Congress says, all right, President Trump, you got it. Access granted. Level 5, 100%. It is a go. Declare war. Oh, my goodness. I can tell you that they're going to grab that diaper and actually use it to catch all that shit. All right, maybe that was that was too far. I apologize. About that. That was too far. But they will. It is what it is, man.
We all know that Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat?
Homie, I debated you on TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and you said we were...
I debated you 4 to 6. Shut the hell up. 2 months? And you're already claiming an endless war? How retarded is this guy? See, I don't put up with that shit. I think Scott Jennings was too nice on his little interview that they had on the podcast. This guy is retarded. He has all this information and no wisdom. He has no common sense, no critical thinking, no analyzing skills. Just an ignorant young fool.
We're weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not going
name one political concession. Name one political concession.
Honestly, I'm not going to have this guy's
Everybody.
First of all, he's a young boy on diapers. You don't get to disrespect him like that. What's wrong with you? Get your fucking hand off his face. I'll say it. No beeps. Tell him, Scott. This lady too, man. So retarded.
Hang tight,
Honestly.
okay? No, everybody calm
knock it
down,
off.
okay? We're having a debate. You can respond to the points that he's making.
Can you name a political concession that we've got?
I just had a flashback to the war the skinheads had in my studio.
I would be mad if I had to defend war too. I would be mad if I had to defend war.
Scott, you can respond.
We have a very simple goal: to keep terrorists and a terrorist regime from having a nuclear weapon that can threaten the United States, our interests in the region, our allies in Europe, anybody else in the world.
So you can't answer the question. Thank you. I would get mad too.
All right, we're going to leave it there, guys.
Hey, he's wrong. Disrespectful. I wouldn't put up with that shit. I just wouldn't put up with it. Let's take a look at what political concessions are. Political concessions are acts of yielding, compromising, or giving up specific demands by a political actor, such as a candidate, a party, or government, to end disputes, reach agreements, or foster unity. They often involve trading less critical demands for essential gains in negotiations or in elections, publicly acknowledging defeat to ensure a peaceful transfer of power. What pisses me off about that question, guys, what pisses me off about that question is, well, number one, that Scott Jennings didn't answer it. But two, what pisses me off about that question is this young pup doesn't understand who we are dealing with. We are dealing with a terrorist regime who wants death to America. That's what pisses me off about that question. They act as if we're just talking to some innocent country. They're just defending themselves. No. It's not just a regular negotiation. And we said the concession is no nuclear weapons. Done. No nuclear weapons. And stop saying death to America, you assholes. That is the concession. Now, this idiot, this kid, listen, I know Scott Jennings is on TV, on CNN. I get it. I get it. But I noticed that people are soft on these libtards. You can't be soft because they will never learn. That young girl, Greta's cousin, she's over there saying we started. We are the aggressors, she says. We are the aggressors for defending our interests. And you know what also? I'm going to tell you this, guys. If you are a conservative, if you voted for Trump and you are here tonight and you're second guessing, thinking about flaking out, let me give you something that you can think about, and then maybe you will come back. Anybody that says anything bad about Israel, don't curse them. Just listen to them. And they're going to say, free Palestine, free Iran. They're going to say the United States of America is losing. Listen, they're going to say that illegal immigrants are priority before Americans in the United States of America. In the United States of America. It never fails. It's the same thing. This is where their mind is. This is who they are. These are the same people that believe burning the American flag, it's okay. Do you understand that is a big problem? And to see a veteran burning the American flag tells me everything about that person. That is a traitor. That little girl, man, I don't think she knows what the hell she's talking about. I gave you guys an article earlier when I started my live about Italy. Giorgia Meloni. Oh, man, I forgot her last name. Georgia. And I've read the whole story, and I told you about how we're paying $1 trillion to NATO. Plus, we got thousands of our soldiers on their countries. and they use them as if they're doing something. They ain't doing shit. Look, listen, they are taking our money and they're using our soldiers to do their bid and take the credit for it. Isn't that the stupidest thing that we can do as Americans? Think about it. The Bible is not Jewish. The Bible is not Jewish. The Torah is Jewish. I believe if the Jews don't believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, don't repent from their sins, and don't accept him as their Lord and Savior, they are not going to heaven. It has been given. It has been given an order, a mandate for us to follow. Now they can always try to follow the law of Moses, because technically, if they respect the Sabbath and they respect the 10 Commandments and they don't fornicate and they don't adult, if they don't sin in that manner, this is why they have to pray daily, kiss the wall, daily, kiss the wall, pray. If they can do it, there is a chance. But I can tell you, it is nearly impossible for anybody to do that. And yes, the Jews crucified Jesus Christ, their own Messiah. But Jesus himself said it on the cross. Do you forget this? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So there you have it. God is showing mercy on them. So let God deal with the Jews. Let God deal with the Hebrews. Which, by the way, the Canaanites. This is where the Jews come from. And they've always been there. That's another story. But anywho, our job, our choice, is to accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. Samoa Funga says, keep America safe. Thank you, USA military, for protecting and defending the United States of America. Vote all red during the midterms. You got it, Uso. And let me tell you something. I'm glad you put his name on there, because American Samoa has the highest recruiting numbers, by percentage, of course, by population. A lot of Samoans sign up to be in the military, and I thank my Usos for that, and my Sungas, all the sisters and the brothers, all the boys and girls going out there to represent the United States of America. Fa'amanuia tulia tua. Yeah, soy fua to you and your family, my friend. Blessings to you and your family. Here's the second part. We talked about $1 trillion to NATO, our military doing the work. We're paying them, and they're using our military. It's like me saying, hey, Connie, come over here. I need you to paint my house. Here is the brush. Here is the paint. And then you say, thank you, Dennis. I will paint this house. By the way, where the kids at? And you call my kids, and you make them paint the house. That's exactly what NATO sounds like to me right now. Now, with that being said, let's read the second part. Because the first part, Trump was threatening to remove the soldiers. Let's take a listen. Well, let's read. Let's read together. Here we go. America's NATO allies put a brave face on Monday on a U.S. decision to withdraw 5,000 troops from Germany, but warned it was proof Europe needs to step up for its own security and fast. U.S. President Donald Trump cast fresh doubts over the future of the alliance as he announced Washington was to scale back its largest troops contingent in Europe after a spat with Berlin over the Iran war. Making tough decisions is not for cowards. See, we voted for President Trump to do exactly what he's doing. I believe President Trump is doing a fantastic job. A fantastic job. Now, I don't care if you like me or like President Trump. He's doing a fantastic job. Period. But gathering Yerevan, Armenia, for a meeting of the European political community, the European leaders, and Canada's Mark Carney, what a loser, said they were ready to step up. Interesting. Europeans are taking their destiny into their own hands, increasing their defense and security spending and building their own common solutions, said France's President Emmanuel Macron. Merci beaucoup, monsieur. Trump has vowed to slash U.S. troop numbers in Europe during both his White House terms, saying he wants the continent to take on greater responsibility for its defense rather than depending on Washington. It's just so much common sense, guys. It's so much common sense. Faced with Trump's wavering commitment and Russia's assault on Ukraine, America's NATO allies have been surging security and defense investments. Last year, they pledged to boost national defense spending to 5% of GDP under pressure from Washington. Let's not forget that Spain wussed out. Nobody likes Spain. But divisions over the Iran war seems to have precipitated events. Although German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has insisted there was no connection between the troop cuts and his recent row with Trump over the conflict. There has been a talk about withdrawal U.S. troops for a long time from Europe, so it's not just now. The EU foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, told reporters in Yerevan, but of course, the timing of this announcement comes as a surprise. It shows that we have to really strengthen the European pillar in NATO, and we have to really do more, Kallas said, while stressing that American troops are not in Europe only for protecting European interests, but also American interests. The Pentagon said last week the 5,000 troop reduction will take place within the next year. Trump has told reporters, without elaborating, that cuts would go a lot farther. Heard the message. Trump has suggested in particular he might pull troops also from Italy and Spain over them not getting behind the U.S.-Israeli operations against Iran. As of the end of 2025, there were 36,436 active duty U.S. troops in Germany, 12,662 in Italy, and 3,814 in Spain. NATO Chief Mark Rutte, by the way, I love that guy. He's my favorite, who was also in the Armenian capital, considered there had been some disappointments on the U.S. side over Europe's reluctance to support the U.S.-Israeli campaign against Iran. But Europeans had heard the message. We're now providing logistical support to U.S. operations and prepositioning key assets close to theater for the next phase, he told reporters. Europeans are stepping up. A bigger role for Europe and a stronger NATO. Rutte said ahead of the EPC meeting dominated by the twin security threats posed by the Ukraine and the Middle East wars. Following talks with Ruta, Canada's Carney said that while there was some concern around adjustments in U.S. personnel, these had to be put against the backdrop of very, very, very considerable American resources dedicated to NATO. About 68,000 U.S. troops are permanently stationed in Europe, according to figures from the U.S. Department of Defense, with thousands of others deployed on a rotational basis, primarily in countries on NATO's eastern flank. Total troops numbers surged to more than 100,000 following Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine under Joe Biden's presidency, but have fallen gradually back since then. In an interview with public broadcaster ARD on Sunday, Merz, who did not take part in the Armenian talks, appeared to confirm that a planned deployment of U.S. long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles to Germany, announced by Biden, was also being called off. He cited depleted arsenals because of the wars in Iran and Ukraine as the reason. We have to step up our military capabilities to be able to defend and protect ourselves, the European chief Ursula von der Leyen told reporters in Armenia. So you see, guys, when our so-called friends don't appreciate what we do for them, we have to let them fend for themselves. It is the only way that they're going to step up. It is the same thing that we tell socialist Democrats. To stop thinking that we need to support the lazy, needy, they said. They're just lazy. There's a lot of people who truly are needy, and we got to step it up. Common sense, people. Listen, I always have a blast when I'm here with you. I want to thank you so much for your likes. Thanks for subscribing. We're at 19,200 plus. That's all you, baby. This channel is only possible because of patrons like you. So thank you so much for stopping by. God bless you. To all my members, love you all. You know that. Thank you again for your support as always. Thank you, John. Have a good one, buddy. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless the USA. Keep common sense alive. I don't believe everything they put on paper or anywhere on social media, but you gotta make sense of things. And so far, this tells me the Europeans better wake up, and the United States of America, we should pull out of there. That's just my opinion. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the USA. We'll see you on the next one.